Happy Wednesday. Listen, let me just go ahead and jump right into this. This is very important, and I'm glad that this took place because this gives me or allows me to sort of reiterate why I post so much content about the Charlie Kirk situation. So it's a lot going on in the comment section. I was going back and forth with this person over the past 10 minutes, and I just decided to stop. And I can just address this at the very beginning so people can understand, and you can decide if you want to stick around and watch my videos or not. And obviously, a lot of you all will because you're invested in this. The person was telling me that Candace Owens is a part of the show. If I'm a real Christian, then I shouldn't be participating in it by constantly talking about it and entertaining this entire, he didn't use the word, but essentially the psyop. Here's my response. I appreciate you for meaning well. You also mentioned the fact that I sell Jesus merch. And if I really care about guiding people towards Jesus Christ, then I wouldn't entertain this foolishness. Let me allow me to explain to you why majority of my content these days have been about the Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk, TPUSA debacle. As I've expressed many times before, I'm going to express it again here. I truly believe that this Charlie Kirk situation is the modern day JFK. That has a lot of implications because a lot of things changed after JFK was allegedly taken out. And as I've said before, I'm working on a documentary. I'm just waiting on the research to come back so that I can put this documentary together and complete it so that I can draw some parallels to explain to people when these major events happen in our country, we suffer behind it. There are certain policies and things that take place, and even wars that are attached to these things that take place usually after this person or after a major event took place. JFK, 2001, we all know what happened in New York City with the two buildings. And here we have even Martin Luther King Jr. And here we have Charlie Kirk. I think people don't fully quite understand what's taking place now. And maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you'll understand why I post about it so much and I didn't stop talking about it. Because this is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Whether Charlie Kirk really passed away or not, there's good evidence to believe that he did, and there's good evidence to believe that he probably did not. Even if Candace Owens is playing a role and she's a character in all of this, and she's a part of the PSYOP, that doesn't change the specificities or the granularities of the exact of the situation in itself, right? And it's important that we steer people in the correct direction. The correct direction is, of course, ultimately Jesus Christ. But what I mean is, specifically to this situation is being used as a catalyst to push certain agendas onto the people. And we're seeing it coming directly from the White House, right? So this is important, especially if we have reason to believe that this is a cover-up. Whether Charlie Kirk was or is in on it or not, I believe that this is a cover-up, right? And I believe that Erica Kirk is and has played a significant role, allegedly. This is extremely important. Part of the reason that I believe this is some of the news that just came out in the last 24 hours, such as we've all been led to believe that Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk met each other in 2018. We all know about the infamous dinner that they had, for the job interview, et cetera, et cetera. What a lot of people are not understanding about that situation is that, first of all, that's weird. Candace spoke about that earlier today. But we have reason to believe that Erica actually met Charlie before 2018. Shout out to Project Constitution. Let's check out what Andrew Kolvet said here.
To the Candace question. Obviously, I'm on team you shouldn't be attacking widows. I don't think that gives somebody blanket immunity forever. I've never suggested that. The Bible's very clear, just for people that are curious, that going after widows is a really bad idea.
And, no.
And
that's way too even straw man the Bible, right? The scriptures does not speak holistically against speaking out against widows, right? And there is a difference between a widow and a grieving widow and a guilty widow, right? So Andrew Kolvet, is the reason why you only talk to people that agree with you, that are in the echo chamber. There's a reason you won't have a conversation, especially on camera, with anyone that challenges the narrative, because your argument will crumble under the slightest of scrutiny. For example, if it turns out that a widow, whether that be a man or a woman, unalived their spouse, and it's later proven that they did it, but early before it's proven, people have reason to be suspicious of that person. Should they investigate that person? Should they look into that person, even though it hasn't been quote unquote proven yet in a court of law? Of course you should. If you have reason to be suspicious of someone, you should. Widow does not make you exempt from scrutiny, investigation, simply because you're a widow. We know that spouses are usually the number one suspect. This is the propaganda that I'm talking about. It doesn't matter if I'm Christian or not. We're witnessing foolishness coming from this administration and this organization, following what could have very well potentially been an assassination of an American citizen on camera for everybody to see. And you people telling me that I should overlook this? No. Whether he really was unalived or not, the point is, what they're trying to push from this situation, I'm not accepting it. As American people, we're not accepting it. We're literally in an Iran war right now that allegedly Charlie Kirk was lobbying against. Now he's nowhere to be seen. He's not around anymore. The Iran war is taking place. That impacts us as the American people.
I just want to stay up front that Erica, I've known Erica since they started dating, since Charlie and Erica started dating. I remember the first time I met Erica, it was actually at Politicon in Los Angeles many years back.
Oh, man.
And I was like, who is this gal? Like, and Charlie was like, oh, she's hanging out with us today. Charlie, you could tell there was something different though, and I logged it. And Erica has always been tremendous, and she never sought the limelight. She was always very happy to sort of be doing her own thing and just be supportive of Charlie. And she's never been anything but just high character, just warm. She was a total asset to Charlie in the sense that, Charlie was so missional. He was so direct. He was so kind of on just, Energizer Bunny, get and direct about what he needed to get done. And Erica was this humanizing presence just for the staff, for whether it was donors or politicians or whoever he was meeting with. And she was just so, but content to be in the background and be the mom. And Charlie told us multiple times, if anything happens to me, Erica's going to be in charge. Said that to us on the staff, said it to his board. So it wasn't a secret when Charlie was killed what was going to happen next. We all knew that he had been very clear about that. And so the attacks on Erica I find to be obviously abhorrent. I find them to be diabolical. I find them to be gross. They're beyond the pale. They're unprecedented.
He just gave us a bunch of adjectives, but he's not talking about the very things that's being accused and investigated and brought up about this woman that are very important. So, but it's what he said at the beginning. He said that Erica was hanging out with the crew back at Politicon. That was in 2017, not 2018. 2018 was the interview that took place. Now, every story that we had heard up until this point was that Charlie met Erica for a job interview. And it was during that job interview, he was like, you know what? I'm not going to hire you. I'm going to date you. Right? So this is a big problem. This is a big problem. All right. And I stopped sharing the screen way too soon. I want you all to see this too. Here it is. This is Politicon 2017, day one.
Stage when Ben Shapiro comes and speak, or when I come and speak, and they storm the stage is fighting for civil liberties. They really stormed the stage when you came to speak? Yeah. Man, you should. I sucks that you're not that popular. I don't know. Or maybe they don't want to hear what I have to say.
But Hassan, you would denounce people storming the stage when Charlie speaks.
Of course I do. That's ridiculous.
Good.
But it happens hundreds of times a year.
Why get so bent up? Like, why get so bent out of shape for something that Charlie has to say? Let him say it to his small audience. The reaction that we...
I have more Twitter followers than you do, so let's just get
Should we put that to an audit? Because I get more retweets than you do.
Not even close.
Popularity.
Someone check that. Check my last 10.
That was 2017. And we just heard Andrew Kolvet say
and the only thing I can think of
that that Erica Kirk was around during that time. That's when he met Erika Kirk. Yeah. Now, I had to use this as an example. I wanted to talk about this because I don't believe this has been stated. And once I say it, I still don't think it will be said enough. If it is actually true that Charlie Kirk lost his life, and this is not some double psyop, then any person that's around Charlie or claimed to have been friends with Charlie, knew Charlie in real life, if I'm actually trying to figure out what truly happened to him, and those same people that knew Charlie are discouraging me from doing so and discouraging other people from doing so, like an Officer Tatum, who just made yet another video either earlier today or yesterday saying the same thing, calling out anybody who's investigating Erika Kirk. People like Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, these people are not my friends. Listen, some things you can disagree with your friends on. Some things that are controversial, you can disagree with your friends on and still be friends with them behind the scenes. That's fine, right? We're all adults. We're mature here. This is not one of those things. If my friend truly lost his life on a surface level and his spouse is exhibiting all of these weird behaviors and got this weird past and connections, and now it's even being said that Erika Kirk potentially knew someone around Kanye West when Kanye West was tweeting about Candace and Charlie Kirk. If you're discouraging people and even attacking people who's looking into Erika, you're not a friend of mine. Michael Knowles, I don't care if you're being nice about the way you speak about me publicly, you're not a friend of mine. Right? And today, say what you want, I'm a happy man because Matt Walsh has been pushing propaganda for 2 months. And finally, somebody with a platform said something about it. It just happened to be Candace.
Absolutely have to comment on Matt Walsh for a tweet that he put out yesterday. Because I was like, question mark here. So he has very much been on the side of how dare you attack a grieving widow, kind of making claims that various data points being introduced, like, oh, Erika lied pathologically. There may have been this $1 billion motive to have Charlie Kirk killed, that Erika lied about the fact that her husband texted multiple people the night before he said he feared he was going to be killed. His overriding point is that these various points are not evidence, right? How a widow is behaving, whether she's grieving correctly, these things cannot be introduced in court. And yet yesterday, he tweeted this regarding a murder that took place in Utah. I was just very interested. He wrote, and this is regarding Corey Richins, a New York Post article that said, grief author Corey Richins found guilty of fatally poisoning her husband for his $4 million estate. And Matt Walsh comments and writes, there's no good moral reason why she should not simply be taken outside the morning after her conviction and hanged. This woman has lost her right to exist. Okay, that's strong words. So I was just stunned by it because I have to assume he did exactly zero due diligence on this case, a case that I actually followed because it was completely nutty. Now, I'm assuming he was not aware that after Corey Richins murdered her husband, fentanyl overdose, she at first played the role of a grieving widow for an entire year. She was not arrested, suspected in her husband's death initially at all, because you know, she's crying. She called 911. In fact, she was so bold in her grieving widow stage that she wrote a book, a children's book regarding grieving. And she did a little local book tour where she actually repeats some of the things that we've heard Erica say, like, you know, the nights are the hardest. Take a listen to this ABC clip of Corey Richins, who had not yet been arrested, a year later, promoting her book.
Joining us now is author of Are You With Me? Corey Richins, to share her 3 C's to helping kids cope with grief. And Corey, I want to start with your story. What happened in your personal life?
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us, and he was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6. And you know, my kids and I kind of wrote this book on the different emotions and grieving processes that we've experienced last year, and, you know, hoping that it can kind of help other kids, you know, deal with this and kind of, you know, find happiness some way or another.
So you actually wrote this book with your children.
I did.
And it's only been a year. How did you process and say you go from processing death to I need to write a book and help others?
You know, I just watched the struggle that my kids were going through, and I actually, you know, I went on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and trying to find something that we could use to cope at nights. Nights are the hardest, it seems like, for everybody when, you know, dealing with anything, but I just wanted some story to read to my kids at night, and I just could not find anything. I couldn't find anything that really, you know, suited them or helped them find comfort and peace, and so, you know, I was like, let's just write one. And so, you know, I took things that my kids have said to me this last year, and we kind of articulated it and put it into a story, and, you know, just have hopes that it will help other kids.
I mean, I'll tell you guys in short, this woman was not actually a grieving widow. She wasn't a grieving widow. Matt, actually, one could argue that she may have even been a psychopath for doing this, being able to do this after she killed her husband. March 4th, 2002 is when her husband, Eric Richins, was murdered. And it took them until May of 2023 to bring charges against her. So more than a year to build a case. And do you know how they built that case? People who actually cared about Eric and offered various details, and, you know, to the point that, well, none of these points and various details about how Erica is grieving would ever survive in the court of law. Ironically, in this case against Corey Richins, for which she was ultimately found guilty, the prosecutors played the 911 call and said explicitly that it didn't sound like a grieving widow. Okay, take a listen.
We're going to listen to the first part, actually most of the 911 call again. I ask that as you listen to it, you'll hear the first minute. The first minute is not the sound of a wife becoming a widow. To echo her friend Chelsea Barney, the first minute is the sound of a wife becoming a black widow.
Her own friend said she's not grieving right. She sounds like she's become a black widow, not a widow. And it gets even crazier. They weren't even able to prove how she poisoned her husband. Check out this headline, okay? Prosecutors in Corey Richins' murder trial could not prove how she poisoned her husband. They didn't need to. So they literally did not know how the fentanyl got into her husband's body. The article tells us, quote, to prove their case, prosecutors relied largely on circumstantial evidence to tie her to Eric Richins' death. Cases based on direct evidence are not necessarily stronger than those that rely on circumstantial evidence, legal experts say. Unlike direct evidence, such as eyewitnesses or recordings of a crime, circumstantial cases require jurors to determine a defendant's guilt by weaving together indirect evidence. In Corey Richins' case, prosecutors focused on potential motives for Corey Richins to kill her husband, and the actions they said show that she had a guilty conscience after his death, both elements that can illustrate a defendant's state of mind. They also used digital records to corroborate key witness testimony, which strengthened their circumstantial case. Quote, all of these things together start to add up, and the prosecution builds this huge mountain, end quote. And you should know that in this particular case, they relied on things like the fact that she was in financial distress, that she had been having an affair, that he apparently wanted a divorce, that she was, as you heard, grieving differently or not at all. They also found a life insurance policy that they deemed to be fraudulent. Now, I'm sure her attorney argued that it was just a clerical error or whatever, but they found it to be fraudulent. And of course, she was set to inherit millions with him gone. The star witness of the case was actually a housekeeper named Carmen, who testified how Corey would come to her and ask her to buy drugs on her behalf, which allowed them to then speculate that this is how she got her hands on an illicit street drug. Now, all that is not to suggest that Erica directly murdered Charlie, but it is to say that were it not for Eric Richens' actual friends, siblings, the housekeeper, even Corey Richens' friends who turned on her and said, no, something is not right. She's not behaving correctly. Something is off. People who were willing to stand up and do what you guys describe as immoral or evil and demanding a further investigation when nothing makes sense. If they hadn't compiled those other facts, were it not for their willingness to show text messages, private correspondences from Eric, showing those messages to the public, to the investigative team, and to refuse some foregone conclusion that spouses simply would never have a hand in the murder of one another, which actually flies in the face of reality.
Right.
Reality is that you're most likely to be murdered by someone you know. That's just a fact of life. But were it not for those people who did not accept the narrative of his accidental ingestion of fentanyl, Corey Richens, the woman that you believe should be hanged for poisoning her husband on the basis of circumstantial evidence, would probably today be considered a brave single mother trying to clean up the mess left behind by her husband's untimely death. And so what I would say is, here is what I know. Grieving widows do not lie about threats that their husbands were facing the night before their death. They don't lie about that stuff. Grieving widows do not make up quotations that the surgeon never said about a Superman neck to manage PR, least of all on the day that they're burying their husbands. I know enough to know that those things simply don't make sense, and I refuse to pretend otherwise. So since you are now in the habit of calling people out publicly for caring, I thought that I should respond and encourage those people to keep going. It's okay if you get some things wrong, but keep going. Go Max, do it for Charlie. Believe me when I say that Charlie would want you guys to.
Now, this is what I would say. That's not the only thing that grieving widows don't do. Grieving widows also would not record themselves filming or allegedly filming their husband in a casket. As a matter of fact, we're going to do something I've never done on this show before. I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to make the live chat present for everybody to see. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to fill out this list right here. Let me see how it looks like on you all's end. Things grieving widows don't do. And I'm going to kick it off. Let me kick it off with the first steps. Things grieving widows don't do. Record their deceased husband, allegedly deceased husband, in the casket. Let me boom, and let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay. I'll do the first three. They would not feature the tent or the, you see the word there, the pow-powing scene at an event like they did with the tent outside of Amfest. Things grieving widows don't do. Fake cry in interviews. Now I'm going to come to you all. Help me out. What else do grieving widows not? Thank you. They don't go on tour with pyrotechnics. Let me add that to the list. Go on tour with pyrotechnics. Right? They don't lie about their dating life. Thank you. Lie about their dating past. Abandon their small babies. Small babies to become CEO. They do not giggle in the Zoom. I mean, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think I'm going to need something a little bit more concrete. They do not allow others in his office. Who was in his office? Bingo. Invite your husband's enemies to speak at his company's event. Invite your husband's enemies to speak at his company's event. What else? We're going to do this together. Yes, concentrate on merch sales. Concentrate on merch sales. Oh, I have to start off some more. Tell people to stop asking questions. All right. Encourage his employees to disregard anything your spouse previously told them to do. Lie about the autopsy. This list is going to go for anybody, and I'm going to put this on Twitter. This is going to be for anybody who is trying to gaslight us, right? Cozy up with other men. I'm going to make that more specific. Inappropriately hug other people publicly, which in this case, JD Vance. Promote the security who failed. Yes. How are they going to? Yes. This list is about to be amazing. Promote the security team that failed your spouse. Right? Do not keep the burial a secret or the fact they froze his body. Thank you. Keep secret details surrounding burial, body management. Y'all are amazing. Keep them coming. Forgive someone who has not been proven man. Forgive the accused assailant before conviction. Proof. Forgive that young man. Y'all so funny. The Truman Show. The True Man Show. Ah, James is tapped in. He understands why Jim Carrey was called Truman in The Truman Show, because he was a true man. As we know, that's a Freemasonic movie. But that's a video for another day. Let's see what y'all saying. Not have his parents or family speak at said memorial. Not have spouses, family speak at his memorial. Assume the role of CEO. It's 2 weeks after their untimely. Yep, already got that one down. Forgive that young man before trial. Right. Let's see. At this, Candace is needed to be a controlled op, so the story continues. That's the guy from early. Here's what I would say to you. What would be the purpose of continuing the story? Since you're so hell-bent on this, tell me what would be the purpose of that? It's her YouTube channel. People don't have to watch her YouTube channel, bro. You know what I mean? Like, they're not forcing it on us. I care about the policies that's following that event. I care about the fact that we're in the Iran war right now, which Charlie was directly lobbying against. I care about the fact that that's going to affect the oil price. I mean, the oil is going to affect gas prices. It's going to affect food shortages because of gas prices. That's what I care about. It's a domino effect. I'm not going to be talking about this Charlie Kirk thing as much as I am, unless I thought it was a bigger play at stake here, right? Tell the public to stop. Yep. The channel is called, yep, I'm aware. Let's see. Go to interview and see. Yeah, maybe. Come on, y'all. There's some other stuff. Ask for a speedy trial. Yep. Ask for a speedy trial. I know y'all got some more stuff for me, man. What y'all got? Avoid the spouse's parents. Not do a separate investigation of his right. Not conduct separate investigation. I'm gonna put that into two. Not question FBI's narrative. There's a lot of things, but I want y'all to tell me first. There's a lot of stuff that's being left out here. Wear mascara when you know you're gonna cry. I mean, not cry. Actually, I am gonna put that down. Mascara when you may cry. I think that is suspicious, personally. Yeah, dress like Elvis on stage is funny. Basically promoting courage to false narrative. Yep, I agree. Ask for a speedy trial. Shoplifting 24 hours later. Because that hasn't been confirmed. Actually, I think it's enough. Shopping for clothes less than 24 hours later. Absolutely. Let's see. Not including his parents. It carries a man's neck as she hugs him on the stage. Yep. Caress a man's neck. Yep. We already got that one down. Sell the shirt that I don't think they did that, did they? I don't think they showed the shirt. Matt Walsh told all of us to F off. I unsubbed at that point, B. Oh, I got a better one for you. We're going to come back to that list, but I want you all to see something first. Let me show you all this. If you all haven't seen this clip.
Today, I want to focus instead on the increasingly aggressive and single-minded attacks on Erica Kirk specifically. As you may have seen, last night, Candace debuted a new series called The Bride of Charlie, which purports to tell us the sinister truth about Erica. Trans radicals are murdering people in this country constantly. There is nothing at all surprising or implausible about the idea that they also killed Charlie Kirk. And you can go back and watch that episode to hear that case played out. I hope you do if you haven't seen it.
So, I mean, there's so many things here. So let's just start with this point. So the narrative is that Tyler Robinson had a 30-06 rifle that he carried onto the roof of the building. When he got on the roof, he assembled the weapon in record timing, took a clean shot at Charlie, hit Charlie on the first shot, got off the roof, but not before disassembling the weapon in record timing using a screwdriver. And then he placed the rifle back into a backpack that the rifle would have been too big for. He jumped off the roof while leaving the screwdriver on the roof. He then runs to some property that just so happens to be owned by Palantir, where he reassembled the weapon without the screwdriver and perfectly left it there wrapped in a blanket for the FBI to find, but not before they would later find him conveniently 33 hours later. That's what you want us to believe. Tyler Robinson's parents have already come out and stated they don't believe that he did this, but of course his family's supposed to state that. So let's take it a step further. The video footage of Tyler Robinson allegedly being turned in or turning himself in magically disappeared and doesn't exist anymore. That's what Matt Walsh wants you all to believe, that another lone power with the radical leftist ideology was able to take out another conservative politician from a rooftop that his team, once again in history, as we've seen, conveniently chose not to check out, just like Butler, Pennsylvania, with Donald Trump. That's what Matt Walsh wants you to believe. If that's not an insult to your intelligence, I don't know what is.
If you took everything that's been said about Erica or implied and tried to present it as evidence in a court of law, you would be laughed out of the room.
So let's take Matt Walsh's logic. This is how you know this guy is a shield, and he's doing what somebody else is telling him to do, because he wouldn't apply this to anybody else, but he's going to apply it to Erica Kirk. Okay, let's just run with it then. Let's see if this sticks. Let's see if this holds up. O.J. Simpson was found innocent in a court of law. You believe that they got that right? Do you believe that they get everything right in the court of law? What? The answer is no. So why would that be? Why would that be? The purpose of what we're doing at this stage, Matt Walsh, is called an investigation, not a trial. Investigations take place before the trial happens, buddy. If said things are to be found during the investigation, then we convict the person. Well, then we seek to convict the person. But you already know that, don't you?
There's no case here. There's no evidence of anything. And these attacks on Erica by Candace and by everyone else engaged in this campaign are wrong, deeply, desperately wrong. Wrong morally and factually.
You have no clue on if she conspired with anybody on anything. That's the purpose of an investigation. But what you're saying is, how dare you all notice lies? How dare you all notice contradictions with the woman on the conservative side of the political aisle? How dare you? Matt Walsh, what you're saying is, how dare you notice that things are not adding up with the story that they're telling us about Charlie? How dare you notice that the very things that Charlie stood for, Erika Kirk is doing the exact opposite, like telling people to stop asking questions when Charlie Kirk quite literally said that is the one thing you should not stop doing. You're saying when she provided an alibi, the alibi did not hold up. And even the picture that she provided of the little boy, of the children, looks to be a little boy that's much older than what her son would look like. You're saying don't notice these things. You're saying this picture right here on the screen, just days after Charlie was taken out, her giddy and laughing and saying things like, if someone acts strange during the grieving process, don't look too much into it. Huh? Not to be morbid, but my husband is dead. Huh? Telling people to completely disregard any and everything Charlie Kirk had them working on prior to September 10th. Bragging about the amount of money and merchandise that they've sold and made. Bragging about the amount of people that had to show up for the memorial, calling it the event, the best political event of the century, or whatever she said. Filming who is allegedly Charlie Kirk in a casket as if to try to convince people that he's actually deceased. You're saying don't notice these things. If this was somebody on the left, you think Matt Walsh would have this much grace? Yeah. Cooked them. So now that we've already, and if you all would like to see the link, I will try to include the link in the description to that entire video where I just completely dismantled the guy. Well, for the sake of the rest of this video, we're going to put this list together. We're going to put together I probably shouldn't say comprehensive because there are so many things. So far, what do we have? Things grieving widows don't do. Record their deceased spouse in a casket. Feature the pow pow scene at an event, at his company event, at the company's event or any event. Fake crying interviews, go on tour with pyrotechnics, lie about their dating past, abandoning their small babies to become CEO, invite your husband's enemies to speak at his company's event. I'll add something to that. Invite celebrities he despised to speak at his event. Concentrate on merch sales. Tell people to stop asking questions. Encourage his employees. I'm going to add something here. Not only to tell people to stop asking questions, purposely choosing not to answer critical questions. Encourages employees to disregard anything your spouse previously told them to do. Lie about the autopsy. Inappropriately hug other people publicly. Promote the security team that failed your spouse. Keep secret details surrounding the burial. Body management. Forgive the accused assailant before conviction or proof. Not have spouse's family speak at his memorial. Ask for a speedy trial. Not conduct separate investigation question and not question FBI's narrative. I'm going to go ahead and just make that separate. Wear mascara when you may cry. Shopping for clothes less than 24 hours later. Let's see, what's something else she did? Promoting policies or ideas opposite what your spouse promoted. All righty. What else would y'all fire at the staff? That might be a reach. I understand why you said I agree, but we don't know the reasons for that. What about the audit Charlie wanted? Yes, that's a good one. I don't know how I forgot about that. That plays into, the opposite of what he wanted. Failing to conduct what is it called? Doge style audit. Lying about Charlie being in fear for his life. Ignoring all the speculation, allowing others to speak for you. What else we got? Waiting for Andrew on tarmac for an hour at the hospital, allegedly, right? Waiting on Andrew. Let me make sure I get that right. On tarmac for an hour at the hospital, yeah. Yeah. Ex-boyfriend on tour with her. Has this been confirmed? Because I know you're talking about Cabot Phillips. I'm pretty sure from TPU, from the Daily Wire. Doge effort. That's fair. Doge style effort. All right. They did not say the kids would be better off. Stating that, that reminds me, it's a couple of things. Stating that your kids would be better off. Stating that deceased spouse would not want to come back to life if given the opportunity. Yes, she stated this because she said the impact of Charlie's pow-powing, he would have appreciated the impact. Yep, lying about overseas. Yep. So I should also put that lying about. I'm going to put this up here about lying about their dating past. So lying about, would not lie about their past in general. Put a fake 14-year-old in your alibi to simple Jack in your alibi. AKA Gary from put a fake 14-year-old kid in your alibi. I don't know if I understand this one. Change position on Israel, right? I think I've already put basically changed his policies. So I think that fits into that. Send messages by other CCs to read. I don't know what that means. Accept money from donors that husband refused. Accept money funding from donors husband refused. Yep, that's a very good one. Removing wedding photo. We don't know if Erica did that directly, but that is a good one. We just don't know if Erica did that. It is definitely a possibility he is still alive. I'm about 70-30. Nah, definitely. I'm with you on that. I'm probably about maybe 50-50, 60-40. Deleting husbands. Oh, I forgot about that. Videos and podcasts. And I don't know if she did this directly, but I'm going to put this down because they're responsible for that. Deleting husbands' podcast episodes, because that could have had evidence. Also, deleting dozens of social media posts after public investigation. For those of you that don't know, she's deleted maybe 30 or 40 Instagram pictures since we started investigating her. After public investigation, deleting dozens of social media posts after investigation, that's suspicious. And if I can, let me see if I have that photo. I may have that photo still. Let's see here. I think I may have it. Just give me one sec. Okay, that's not it. No. There it is. This is the photo. At one point, she had 693 pictures. And as you can see here on the right, there's now 651 pictures. All right, that is a 42 post difference. Why would you do that? In a span of, what, a month and a half? Why would you do that? That's odd. Don't tell us to not trust our eyes, our common sense. Let me share this. Let me share the okay. Yep, loving on Nicki Minaj. Yep, I put her down already. Printing replicas of the shirt and selling them. Did they do that? Oh, I think that's suspicious too. But then again, I don't know if it's suspicious enough. Some people could say that that's just a way to memorialize him. Not providing phone. Good point. Holding on to not providing deceased or spouse's phone. Didi, I'm going to drive. Absolutely not. Legally, I wouldn't even, I would have an argument because I believe this is a fake war. Right? So, no, of course not. They don't lie. Yep, we already got that one. Lying about Fort Huachuca. I mean, we have to absolutely unequivocally prove that she was there to say that she's lying. Lying about Shabbat Shalom. Not sure if I understand. I don't know if we're able to prove that. And did you put interviews with New York Times, which he hated? Actually, she could have liked it though. You know, that is good criticism. I don't know if it's good enough to add to the list though. Work with her ex-boyfriend after husband's powwowing. She worked with Cabot Phillips at TPUSA. I just need to see the proof of that. I've seen people talk about it. I don't know if he's going to actually be going on tour. That could be true. I just need to see the evidence. That's all. Yeah, that's a big list. And somebody said that's a big list. Yeah, man. Let's scroll back up to the top. Look at this list. And we're not even done. I'm going to spend like maybe another 5-10 minutes doing this, and we can just revisit this as more information comes out. But there's more stuff. Don't wear golden brass knuckles. That's funny. Video by these episodes, change position on Israel, not giving an alibi. Yeah, not providing alibi. Not providing credible alibi. Meeting BB for anything. I don't know. Did she meet with him? That man you covered yesterday, who wrote the resignation letter, said he doesn't want to fight for it. All right. Go on book tour. To be fair, she did go on book tour for Charlie's book. So I don't know if that's enough to make the list. Trying to help Fed Slop, Iron Nick, and saying he'd rather stay right. Yep, we have that added. They do not hire online voices to slander his friends. Yeah, I agree, but we would have to prove that they've done that. Yep. Inappropriate hug. I don't know if they kissed, but yeah. They don't say he would do it again. Yep. Only spoke to husband's best friend once. She told everyone to stop donating. Yeah, that's suspicious. Yep. Not speaking with spouses or one of spouses' best friends who had questions about the legitimacy of what happened, of the narrative surrounding what happened. Stating that the kid allows best friend to mercilessly ridicule for asking questions. Right. That's actually a really good one. Allowing spouse's best friend to be attacked for simply asking questions. Acting like Charlie was on a loving God, calling for another man, amazing, taking donations. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We just have to prove that they're not her children, but that was very weird. Yep, we already got Ben. We got the fact that she had people speaking that Charlie didn't care for. Yeah, man. All right. Okay. Heck yeah. The last thing I'll say is remember, people keep forgetting this. When this all first started, some of the biggest because You got we can't forget our buddy here. Let's find him. Where is he at? Where is he at? Our good old buddy here. It wouldn't be complete without him.
I just want to say this very clearly. As I peruse the internet, I am so disgusted by the things that I'm hearing about Erika Kirk. It is so shameful to me that people will fix their mouth, posture, their social media platform to make this woman look bad after her husband dies. It is shameful. Because when Charlie was alive, I didn't see nobody talk about Erika.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter then. The dude wasn't allegedly pow-powed on camera for everybody to see. It didn't matter. Again, for my people out there that believe that Charlie may be alive, I get you, I'm with you. But I'm saying on a surface level, we have to meet Tatum where he is, whether he's a part of the PSYOP as well or not. Based on simply the words that he's stating, it's total BS. It didn't matter then, dude. I'm not even going to waste my time listening to him. It is absolutely shameful what is being done to Erika. Shameful. But he won't talk about the very things that's being mentioned about her. All the suspicious stuff. I've been over this. You can't claim to love or support Charlie Kirk if you're out here attacking his wife. Nobody believes you, dude. He's getting destroyed in the comment section too. Destroyed. Here, I'll show you. When Tamu Tatum is defending someone, you know 100% they are an op. Somebody says here, this was the comment that annoyed me. Somebody said this all leads back to Candace. If she stops, it will all stop. It would never have started if it weren't for her being allowed to defame and slander Erika with almost no pushback. Now, this is where I'm offended because nobody waited on a Candace Owens to investigate anything. This has been an investigative YouTube channel for 5.5 years, 6 years now, over a plethora of different topics. So my mind already goes to analyzing situations. The moment I saw it, I was shocked. And then once I started to pay attention to things, the red flags were all over the place. And because people seem to forget how this actually took place, let me take you back and remind you. When all of this first started, Candace wouldn't talk about Erika. You all remember, I would not stop yelling at the camera, Erika, Candace, Erika. And I'm only saying Candace because she has the largest platform. And she actually knew Charlie. Erika, why aren't you talking about Erika? Look at this person. And you also have to give credit where it's due. To this day, Candace hasn't even mentioned the movie Snake Eyes. Candace have not even mentioned, well, she's referenced the music video, but she hasn't used the music video against Erika as of yet. Those are considered conspiracy theories, right? The fact that she goes to Vegas and she's in a music video called My Kind of Crazy, and she zip lines past the date that says 9/10 and 10/10. She the guy's name is Tyler that she marries in the music video, which is also the name of the guy who supposedly took out Charlie, right? And they have similar phenotypes. You look at the movie Snake Eyes, where a guy by the name of Charles Kirkland was taken out. And the person who watched him get taken out literally looks like Erika Kirk from behind. Blonde with the white suit or the white blazer, just like Erika wore the very first speech she gave in Charlie's office. Candace hasn't even touched those things. She's only dealt with things that can be proven about real life, not music videos or movies. Those are just the icing on the top for me. You know? So yeah, man. for sure. Love and Death and Money, appreciate you for the $5 super chat. Coach Collins said today that he's been meaning to get in touch with you. Time step 226. I love to see you two on the podcast. Shout out to Coach Collin. He may not know this, but I'll share this with him if we ever speak. He and I have talked a little bit through Twitter or X, but it's been a few months. Early on, I talked to a few of these people. I've spoken to Barron only once, and he just never returned my email, but we've all been so busy. But this is what I will say. Coach Collin, he may not know that I remember this, but send this clip to him. He and I could laugh about this at a later time. But early on, he was not one of the people I was rocking with as far as what he was saying about the whole Charlie Kirk Erica thing. Because early on, he was suspicious like some of us was, but he wasn't really willing to go all the way. In fact, I vividly remember, because I reacted to it on the channel, because I didn't even know about his YouTube channel. His video popped up and I was like, what is this dude talking about? He was like, I understand that there are some red flags and some questions around Charlie, but this Erica Kirk angle, I'm not understanding it. And I know he's in a completely different place now, but early on, I was like, dude, what are you talking about, bro? And this was like maybe just 2 or 3 weeks after everything. I was like, the red flags are everywhere. Her past is already weird. The fact that you are in Romania at 17 is like, how? Partnering with the military. How? Why? What? You know? So, but it's all love, man. Like, if it's meant for me to, connect with some of these folks, it will definitely happen. If not, then that's fine too. I'm focused on trying to get to the truth of this psyop. I do have a video coming on a completely different topic, though, here in the next. I'll try to have it out about tomorrow. And it's going to cover some things about Jeffrey Epstein, some other things that I haven't heard anybody else really talking about. So stay tuned for that. Hit the like button if you have not done so as of yet. I appreciate you all as always. I'm going to go ahead and log off, man, and I'm going to catch you all the next one. Peace.
Oh, yeah, Didi got a pie.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate of UCA. And his story, is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas, and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly.
No such thing as a life that is better than yours. Y'all can just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright. No such thing. Come on, we can do better than that. Talk to me. Alright, let's start it over. No such thing as a life that's better than yours.
You're worse than the rich white people or the rich white Jews that own these record labels, because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people, and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you?
Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.